Hey everyone, welcome back after such a long break from the channel. I've finally gotten team building ready in Scarlet and Violet and actually just came back from my first regional in San Diego. I want to start Generation 9 off with a report on my first team. Like the clickbaity video title says, this team managed a 7-1 record in Swiss rounds of a 177-person grassroots tournament, and then took a round in Top Cut to go with 8th overall. This was the Espeon Cup, which is part of a larger circuit. I'll link the Discord for that circuit below. Unfortunately, it didn't do as well at the San Diego regionals, going even at 5-5, but I feel okay about the losses, as they were all to strong players who at minimum ended up earning championship points there. I will say the team is somewhat read heavy, which can be frustrating if your opponent is outplaying you, but it also means the plays you get right are incredibly impactful and very satisfying. Anyway, I hope that was enough time for you to grab the rental code. Let's take a look at the sets in depth on Showdown. Okay, let's start with Dragonite. I wanted to use my favorite Pokemon on my first team of the generation, and it ended up being key to a lot of my game plans. We're running Max Attack Adamant, enough speed to beat uninvested Murkrow to hit them with Ice Spinner before they use Foul Play on us, and the rest in HP with pretty good Life Orb optimization. Speaking of, Life Orb allows us to remain more flexible than Choice Band and run Protect, while still doing massive damage with Terra Normal Extreme Speed. Brick Break is of course useful for dealing with screens, but also provides a lot of pressure into 4 times weak targets like King Gambit and Tyranitar. Ice Spinner is great against Ice Spam teams, as they can no longer stop us from throwing out ESpeeds after we remove their terrain, and it also provides valuable coverage into Amoonguss. I really considered dropping Inner Focus for Multiscale, considering how Intimidate had seemed to drop off from the meta, but the Flinch immunity was really helpful, especially in certain matchups like Sand and Perish Trap. Also, as it turns out, Intimidate came back to San Diego in a big way. Speaking of mons that don't really care about Intimidate, we have Meowscarada. This is mostly a super standard Sash Meowscarada set with 252, but the one bit of tech here that's really nice is Helping Hand. This is mainly to be used on Dragonite's ESpeeds, which allows us to pick up some massively impactful KOs. You can OHKO a Hydreigon with Helping Hand Terra Normal ESpeed, as well as Careful Murkrow, lots of stuff. It's actually crazy what you can just erase from the board in one turn. But it also works really nicely with other members of our team when Meowscarada is walled out. To accommodate Helping Hand, I chose to drop Knockoff from the standard set because Sucker Punch was just too valuable. It picked up OHKO's vulnerable mons like Goldengo, despite our team lacking speed control. We're running Terra Grass for big Flower Trick damage in a pinch, but Ghost would have also been really helpful in several scenarios. Dodging normal priority moves like Fake Out and Extreme Speeds, fighting moves like Drain Punch in close combat, and allowing you to get out of Gothitelle traps. Moving on, we have what is probably the centerpiece of the team, which is Dondozo. Dondozo didn't really come to most of my games since almost every good player had multiple direct counters for it ready, but just the threat of it being there is really useful for predicting what my opponents will bring to each game. We're running a speedy set with just enough investment to outrun Garchomp with our Commander boost, HP optimized for leftovers, a low Adamant attack breakpoint, and the rest in special defense. We can afford to run this with fairly low attack investment since we're running the attack boosting Tatsu, powering through stat drops and even burns with enough order ups. Substitute provides protection against status and clear smog in addition to allowing you to stall, and Protect only magnifies that while providing additional leftovers recovery. This does mean that we're left with only Order Up and Earthquake as attacking moves, so we can potentially be walled by things like Terra Fairy Hydreigon. Because of this, and lacking a powerful stab unless we Terra, one might consider dropping Protect for Wave Crash, but that's definitely a trade-off since Protect allows us to stall lefties and keep our sub up longer. Speaking of Terra, I went with Dragon because it just feels really strong to resist both grass and electric moves while also boosting the power of Order Up. Moving on to Tatsugiri, this is the other part of the Dozogiri pair obviously, and this is a standard Choice Scarf set. Soak can pick up crazy OHKOs with Terra Grass Meowscarada on lead, although it does feel like a bit of a gimmick in an open sheet format. A consistent single target attack like Dragon Pulse or Chilling Water could be better to reliably close out games with Scarf, but the threat of picking up an OHKO with that Soak combo can provide cover for an Icy Wind or a switch. We're running Terra Water because this is actually the only water coverage on the team, so we occasionally need that extra power against appropriate targets like Terra Fire and Annihilate, for example. Alright, moving on we have Skeledirge. Skeledirge is primarily here as my answer to opposing Dondozo. At first I was running Terra Grass, but with the rise of both Terra Flying and Fissure Dondozo sets, I decided to run Terra Flying myself, to at least take less than 50% from a Wave Crash while I Terra. I go 1 point beyond a middling modest special attack breakpoint to have an even number for Torch Song boosts, and then put a few points in speed to attempt to creep other Skeledirge since the faster one almost always wins the mirror. The moveset is a really standard Torch Song, Shadow Ball, Slack Off, Protect set to win the 1v1 against Dozo via recovery, opting to have Protect over Terra Blast. Finally, while we'd really like to run Leftovers, our Dondozo makes much better use of that, so we're stuck with Citrus Berry here. Then the final member of the team is Sylveon. I had a really hard time choosing between this and Goldango, and ultimately I decided that I didn't have an appropriate item left over for Goldango. A Scarf and Life Orb were already taken, and there's no real speed control for Specs, so I went with Sylveon. This is really nice to smack the large number of Fairy Weak Mons in the meta, like Annihilate, Hydreigon, Garchomp, and Murkrow with that Pixelate Hyper Voice boost. And plus, unlike Goldango, it could actually benefit from Meowscarada's Helping Hand boosts. Losing Goldango does leave us a little weak to both Amoonguss and opposing Goldango, so while Terra Water Sylveon would have been really nice to shore up my coverage there, I decided I needed Fire to cover those weaknesses. Now, the EV spread is a little out there. The big matchup I lost when removing Goldango was Sand, so I decided I needed to make Sylveon faster than the most popular T-Tar spread to increase my chances of not flinching from double Rock Slide. Combined with Dragonite's Inner Focus and Terra typing, this does work really well for that matchup, but it comes at the expense of my special attack investment, since the T-Tar in a popular Cybertron video was quite speedy. While we do manage to hit a point above a middling modest special attack breakpoint for an even value to get boosted by Throat Spray, I did miss some really key KOs in San Diego that a higher investment probably would have picked up. Even more tragically, I didn't face a single Sand team in all 10 rounds of Swiss, but, you know, sometimes that's life. Anyway, that's the team. I will be posting some more battle content, in particular, just the things I've been messing around with in Series 1, and once the Series 2 ladder goes live, we'll be moving on to playing with Paradox Mons. Until next time.